Today on race day, Front Row Joe strikes again. Nemechek looking for his first Cup win from the pole at Pocono. We'll have a preview. The kart champ cars take off this afternoon in the Great White North. A rookie was fastest during qualifying. And the NHRA pros search for speed in the Mile High City. The door slammers and a whole lot more. We're live in the Poconos on race day, Sunday the 20th of July, 1997. Well, good afternoon. Welcome live to Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania. I'm Rick Benjamin. Time for race day. The Winston Cup Stars running their second event here in the summer in just about an hour. And we've got a full-packed preview for you in the next half hour. 45 cars came here looking for a qualifying spot in today's $1.4 million run. Only 42 would make it. And when qualifying was done on Friday afternoon for the second time in the past couple of weeks, it was the Team Sabco Monte Carlo of Joe Nemechek, fastest of them all. Nemechek quick through early practice. He set an event qualifying record of 168.881 miles an hour, beating Ernie Irvin's late bid for the pole by less than half a mile an hour. Wally Dallenbach, Nemechek's teammate, third quick in qualifying, his career best. The two Dales will start fourth and fifth. Jeff Gordon and Ken Schrader will follow. Jeff Green with a nice qualifying effort. He'll go eighth today. Mark Martin and Bobby Labonte round out the first 10. And some of the other names you know, Bill Elliott and our good friend Mr. Waltrip will line up side by side back in row 8 today. Rick Mast, the fastest second-day qualifier, nearly 167 miles an hour. Bobby Hamilton had the fastest car of all on Friday during practice. Lost a motor during qualifying. They put a backup engine in. He qualified easily yesterday. He'll start pretty far back in the pack there. As you see today, Hamilton will go 28th. They're very happy with the car. Rusty Wallace, for the first time ever at Pocono, had to take a provisional, as did Johnny Benson, Dave Marcus, and David Green. Three drivers, as we mentioned, did not make the show today. We'll tell you more about who they are coming up in a couple of moments. Now, for Joe Nemechek, it's his third top 3 start in the last 5 races, his fourth since Martinsville. Race Day's Matt Yoakum has caught up with Front Row Joe down in the garage area. Matt?
Rick, for the 4th time this season, Front Row Joe showed his dominance in qualifying as Joe Nemechek scored his second career pole. Last time here at Pocono, you had a car to win, but a motor failure late in the going ended your bid for victory. Is today the day?
Well, I hope so. You know, the whole Bell South team is just working so hard. Tony Glover's just got a great group of guys building these cars and preparing them, and Keith Simmons got a great group of guys back in the motor shop building the engines, and they work hard to try and analyze if we have a failure, what goes wrong and how to fix it, and they've done an excellent job at that, and the car's running awesome this week. We're just looking forward to a good day.
How much has Tony meant to you as far as helping you along? He came out of this team in the springtime, and it seems like the performance has just risen to the top.
Well, it's you can't beat experience, and it's the same as with a driver. I think we fit together real well, and we communicate real well, and we're learning each other more and more every week on what my tendencies are and how much adjustments we make, and just so on. And he's meant a lot. He's like my best friend, and that's the key.
Well, he hopes he and his best friend go to victory lane today for his first career victory, and what would make it even more special, $53,000 will go to Joe and the Unical folks if he wins from the pole. Rick?
Thanks, Matt. That certainly got Joe Nemechek's attention earlier this weekend. Nemechek truly Front Row Joe. He's tied now with Jeff Gordon and Dale Jarrett for the most front row starts in the Cup Trail this year. But 2 of DJ's front row starts and 1 of Jeff Gordon's came when qualifying was rained out and the lineup was set according to points. Joe Nemechek has earned all 4 of his front row starting spots this year. Now the challenge for his Tony Glover-led team is to keep the 42 car there all afternoon long. Of course, we've got a lot more on the Winston Cup Series and full highlights from the Pennsylvania 500 tonight on race day, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. A full day of big league motorsport is ahead this weekend. The Kart Championship cars return to the site of one of their worst tragedies ever, the temporary street circuit in Toronto. That's where driver Jeff Krosnoff and a course worker, Gary Avron, were both killed 1 year ago in that horrifying mid-race accident. Well, this year safety has been upgraded at the Molson Indy Circuit. No problems in qualifying for today's Molson Indy Toronto. In fact, a lot of speed by Kart's elder statesman, Bobby Rahal. He's looking for a good run today. His last victory came 5 years ago, but Bobby qualified 3rd quick. He'll try to end his drought this afternoon. Portland race winner Mark Blundell starts 2nd today. The PacWest Reynard, one of only 2 cars to top the 105-mile-an-hour mark during qualifying this weekend in Toronto. Now, the other driver to have a very, very fast qualifying trip was the rookie from Scotland, Dario Franchitti, in Carl Hogan's machine. Franchitti 3/10 of a second quicker than Blundell. He gets to start his Reynard Mercedes out in front for the first time in his kart driving career.
It's been a while since I've had a pole position. To do one in kart here is great. First of all, I've got to find out how to do a start from the front row. I'm going to talk to some of the other guys and talk to Wally about that, but after that, we'll see what happens.
Here's how the rest of the other front row starters, front group of starters will line up today. Michael Andretti, 4th. Alex Zanardi, last week's winner, goes 6th. Mauricio Guzman rounds out the first 10 highlights for you tonight. The NHRA ground pounders this weekend. Oh, we'll show you some other notables as well. Jill DeFerrin, Christian Fittipaldi in the show, but starting pretty far back. It'll be interesting to see whether they can come up through the pack. Now, the NHRA ground pounders busy in Denver, a Rocky Mountain high sort of this weekend. Our Mopar performance update now. A record purse is up for grabs at the Mopar Parts Mile High Nationals in Denver. TNN's Bob Fry there for us this weekend. The teams are battling each other and the altitude at Vandermeer Speedway. Right, Bob?
Rick, some strange things happen when we come to Denver in the Mopar Parts Mile High Nationals. In funny car qualifying, everybody had a shot at that top spot in the $4 grand. John Force tried. He didn't get it. Tony Pedregon, Gary Densham tried. They didn't get it. But this guy did. Whit Bazemore's first #1 qualifying effort for Team Winston. A spectacular shot, especially at altitude. He runs 5:13 at a sensational 301 miles an hour. The other pro categories all belong to Team McDonald's. In the top fuel category, a brand new car for Corey McClanathan. 3 spectacular runs, including a 4.73 that put him safely on top of the top fuel field. And in Pro Stock, the guy that still looks like he is the dominant Pro Stock car, Jim Yates, and the other McDonald's entries. 7.40. 4 sensational runs for Yates here on the mountain. He's #1 and again the guy to beat. But the real story here was this guy. Congratulations, your first #1 qualifying effort ever.
Oh, I tell you, Bob, it's just great. You know, it's hats off to the guys on the team, and it feels good to finally do this. We've wanted to be #1 forever, and to finally do it, it feels really good.
They did a sensational effort. Congratulations to Whit and Team Winston. Now, if they could go out and win it, it'd be their 2nd win on the 1997 season. Rick?
All right, thanks a lot, Bob Fry. Highlights, of course, tonight. More to come on race day. Race fans in the Denver area certainly in hog heaven this weekend. Not just the dragsters. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Stars are also busy battling there, too. And it was a big day for the Dale Earnhardt crew. The highlights are next.
Day is brought to you by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them.
Welcome back live to Pocono Raceway on race day. It's the middle of the summer, and that means the NASCAR Truck Series stars head to the Rockies for some rare Colorado air. The Craftsman Truckers running 250 laps yesterday around the very tight 3/8 mile Colorado National Speedway. The key this day, tire management. Last week's winner, Ron Hornaday, putting tire strategy to work early. He dropped back from the pole position where he started to 7th early. Leading the way, not holding back, Mike Wallace in the Ken Schrader 52 there. Wallace with a couple of top 10 finishes so far holds the point to lap 64 until Mike Bliss would move by. Hornaday right behind in tow. Next time around, Hornaday inches closer to tying Mike Skinner's record for 3 truck wins in a row by taking the point on lap 65. Just before halfway, Mike Wallace pays for that early speed. He gets a lap down from Hornaday. The second half of the event after the midway break was pretty much a repeat of the first. Hornaday content to save his tires and let others lead. Rookie Rick Crawford in the Circle Bar Truck Corral Ford running his first laps out in front this year. Also playing the waiting game, point leader Rich Bickle setting up for his own late race charge. And with 40 laps to go, Bliss and Hornaday wrestle again for the point, and Hornaday is able to take the Napa 16 out in front. Late caution setting up a dash for the cash. Hornaday throws down another of his patented great restarts and pulls away with the Colorado 250, his 4th win in the last 5 Craftsman Truck Series events. Mike Bliss hangs on for 2nd spot. Stacy Compton comes home 3rd. That's his best for the young rookie, best finish of the year. Sauter and Bickle end up the rest of the top 5. No change in the points, although Hornaday is closing the gap now. Bickle is still on top with another top 5 finish, but look at that, Hornaday wasn't even in the top 5 a couple of weeks ago. Next Sunday, trucks go to Heartland Park in Topeka. The calendar says July, but for the Pennzoil World of Outlaws, it's really the start of a month of money. Last night, the Kings Royal kicking off a series of 3 huge events, a total of $250,000 up to the winner if someone could sweep all of that. Let's go to Eldora, 50K up last night. You saw it live here on TNN. Steve Kinzer on the pole in the 11 car after a hard crash Friday night. He had to use a backup that he said wasn't very well suited to Eldora, but you'd never know it. On the back straightaway, Sammy Swindell and the blue Channel Lock Gambler low to lead, only to have the King return the favor with a classic Eldora slide job. Behind them, big pileup. Stevie Smith in the backstretch wall. Greg Hodnett goes flipping end for end, no one injured. Scare for the leader here. Lap 7, Dean Jacobs will taste the Eldora concrete right in front of Kinzer. Mark Kinzer, the defending Outlaw champion, he's a threat anytime, but he was not a threat last night. Out early after a flat tire put him in the wall. 5 laps to go. If anyone's going to challenge King Steve, it's going to be the Wild Child. Jack Haudenschild makes a miracle move between Blaney and Frankie Kerr for 2nd, but it's Steve Kinzer all the way in the Quaker State 11. He rolls to his record 4th King's Royal crown. And we'll show you the rest of the top 5 now. Behind Kinzer, Hogg comes home second. Sammy Swindell, Hillenberg, and Johnny Herrera, who won this one a year ago. The rest of the first 5. Tim Allison comes up in 10th spot. When we continue, more from Pocono Raceway. Plenty of news in Winston Cup racing. We'll hear from one of the top candidates to take over in Robert Yates Texaco Haviland Ford next year. And when we come back, I talk with one of the big surprises in qualifying for today's Pennsylvania 500. Much more on the way when Race Day Live comes right back. Welcome back live to Pocono International Raceway on Race Day. One of the best qualifying efforts in the Winston Cup Gentry this weekend was the run of Wally Dallenbach, supposedly Team Sabco's 3rd driver. You wouldn't know it by the way he ran this weekend. Wally's standing by now with our Mike Hogwood.
Rick, it was back in May when Wally Dallenbach decided he was going to run a lot more races this season. He got the backing from First Union to do it, and he's been running better and better every race. He'll start 3rd on the race today, and Wally, you got to feel great about running here at Pocono.
I do. I don't think people realize how young this team is. I mean, this is only like our 11th race. This team didn't exist back in November, December. So these guys have done a super job giving me good race cars, and you know, it makes life a lot easier qualifying. I used to hate qualifying, but they've been giving me some great cars, and it's making a difference.
One of the keys now is getting this car to last for the entire race. But I think you probably have to get the car to go fast first before you last.
Absolutely. I told these guys back when we started this deal that we need to run up front. I'd rather break running up front if that's what we got to do. We got to be fast first. Then we'll get the reliability. So right now we're running fast. Now we got to make them last.
How close is this team to a win, and could this race be the one?
I think this one could be the one. I think we're close. And I think we've got a great car for this weekend. If we just have good pit stops and everything goes our way, we need a little bit of luck, we can win.
Wally, good luck to you.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what, the Wally Dallenbach team, car 46, they feel they can do it today. Rick, watch out for them in the Pennsylvania 500.
Well, we'll see. If not today, my betting is on that team at Watkins Glen in a couple of weeks. More developments in Winston Cup racing this past week. It's been a tough season for Joe Falk's team, the 91 car. Hormel announcing they were taking the Spam sponsorship off that machine a couple of days ago. They came here with bare quarter panels. Greg Sachs driving the car, but he wasn't fast enough to make the show. Changes at Triad Motorsports. Billy Standridge replaced as driver by Bobby Hillen. Standridge had 11 DNQs this season in the 78 car, and there was no better luck for Hillen. He was too slow to make the race at Pocono today. Also headed home, Steve Park this weekend. He was trying to make his first Winston Cup event in the Dale Earnhardt Burger King Chevrolet, the 14th. But likely the biggest issue this week remains who's going to get the ride in Robert Yates' machine, the number 28, as we watch Steve Park in his unsuccessful bid to qualify. Plenty of indication that it'll be Truck Series rookie Kenny Irwin Jr. who drives the Liberty machine on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Tour. The Indy native telling us this week he is talking with a couple of Cup teams about 1998, and it's still not clear where he'll go next year.
I know the 28 car is maybe open next year, and I hear that the 4 car may be open next year, so I'm just trying to see, you know, if they're interested in me.
Audio. Okay. Still also hearing the name of Johnny Benson Jr. as a possible candidate for the 28 car. We will certainly keep you up to date. Major move this week in the high-stakes game of speedway trading. The International Speedway Corporation, Daytona's parent company, announcing Monday they have bought Phoenix International Raceway from longtime track owner Buddy Job. He will stay on as track president. ISC paying Job $60 to as much as $67 million for the track, depending on tax treatment. The world's fastest one-mile oval already hosts the Winston Cup Tour in the fall, the Indy Racing League, the Trucks, the Southwest Tour, the Copper Classic, and more. A few weeks ago, PIR announced the state will build them a new 5-lane bridge over the Gila River. Bill France Jr. says more growth is on the board there.
We're going to bring some ideas, some marketing help to him. And needless to say, I think he touched on it. He's looking for some cash to try and help accelerate the improvements. So, which is what we've been improving all of our facilities. So with motorsports on a growth curve, if you don't keep up with it, well, you're going to get left at the post. So we want to make sure that Phoenix stays right in the hunt with the best of the facilities around the world.
Now, the Speedway Corporation says they will add 25,000 seats to the 65,000 already at Phoenix. Maybe a second Winston Cup race. We'll wait and see. When we come back live at Pocono Raceway, we'll check out a couple of key drivers in NASCAR's Busch Series. They've got an off weekend this week, but they're gearing up for next week's inaugural run at Gateway. And find out everything you'd want to know in motorsports at www.country.com. It's our new website. My weekly race day commentary is there. We'll be right back at Pocono.
Promotional fee and consideration paid by Gladiator and Universal Luxury Vans, the official van of tracks, teams, and drivers throughout the NASCAR world. Call 1-800-445-2825 for a dealer near you. By Featherlight Trailers, the official trailer of NASCAR, IndyCar, IRL, and major sponsor of the NHRA. Remember to call Featherlight for all your trailer needs at 1-800-800-1230 or 319-547-6000. Race fans, kick off the 1997 NASCAR season with this exclusive offer, an authentic TNN Motorsports NASCAR Thunder Mini Helmet made by Simpson Race Products. Call today or visit your local NASCAR Thunder store to purchase this one-of-a-kind limited edition collectible. Call 1-800-338-6016. Subscribe to Stock Car Racing Magazine at the low introductory price of $14.97. Call toll-free 1-888-9-STOCK-CAR. Save 68%. Toll-free 1-888-9-STOCK-CAR.
Welcome back live to Pocono Raceway, getting close to start time for today's Pennsylvania 500. The countdown underway to next week's inaugural NASCAR Busch Series event at the new Gateway International Raceway, the mile-and-a-quarter oval just outside St. Louis in the state of Illinois. Much of the Busch Series focus is on the title fight, of course, between Randy LaJoie and Todd Bodine, but very quietly, Bodine's teammate Mike McLaughlin is one of the hottest drivers on the tour of late. Our Bob Dillner caught up with Magic Shoes this week.
We're getting a little bit better. Lately we've had some decent finishes, so hopefully we can finish out the season and let the points take care of themselves.
Mike McLaughlin is taking care of business midway through the 97 edition of the Busch Series. He has 2 wins, 2 seconds, and 7 top 10 finishes during the last dozen races. A testament to the resiliency of the Royal Oak team after struggling early in the year.
We just never give up. This bunch here, we've come together, starting to gel. Gary Cogswell's doing a great job, calling races, which has given us a couple of victories this year, and everybody has their job, and it's starting to show now we're a lot more consistent.
Consistency is the name of the game in NASCAR racing. Teammate Todd Bodine has been a staple of consistency this year, but right now, the boys on the other side of the shop are not worried about the point chase.
Every time I look at the points, we end up not doing so well. So anymore, I don't look at the points. I just concentrate on the next race, preparing, give it 110%, and it'll all take care of itself. I don't like the points. I mean, I like being in the points battle for the sponsor, Royal Oak, but to get caught up in the whole points thing isn't a whole lot of fun. I just soon go out there and try and win.
McLaughlin and the Royal Oak boys are now preparing to make their mark in a new territory for the Busch Series, with Saturdays running at Gateway International near St. Louis.
The people that have tested have a little bit of an advantage, but we've got enough depth in-house now. I think that between the two of us, Todd and I, we can go there with the same setup, venture off different directions, take that information, apply it, and be real competitive come race time.
By this time, many felt the man they call Magic Shoes would be in Winston Cup. But for right now, McLaughlin seems content to stay where he is.
Back when I first started, just the thought of racing for a living was a dream. So, anything beyond that point was quite an accomplishment for me. I'm very happy where I'm at. I want to win races, that's for sure. And I want to win a lot more where I'm at right now before I think of doing anything else.
Reporting for Race Day, I'm Bob Dillner.
A couple of more victories and Magic Shoes may well be here with the Winston Cup Stars on Sunday. He won't be going to the Brickyard this year, but everybody else will in just a short time. The annual Winston Cup Star trek to Indianapolis getting underway with testing this past week. Second week of testing, in fact. Both Ford and Chevrolet drivers on track early in the week at the 2.5-mile oval. The historic speedway, one of everybody's favorite stops because of all the prestige and money.
I would like to have Rusty Wallace Brickyard 400, get the trophy like Dale has and like Dale Jarrett did and Gordon. Felt like that racetrack owes me one from what happened a couple years ago.
This is exciting for us to come here and start testing for the Brickyard. Every time you run here, it's exciting. It brings sort of chills, up my spine to think about when we won here in '94, and we'd love to do it again.
This place is on everybody's eyes. There's no doubt about it. This is a huge trophy to go try to get. This is one of the hardest races to win because it is so cherished. Everybody, just about every team will come here and test and spend a great deal of time getting used to the racetrack and making adjustments to their cars, and we're here to do the same thing.
Certainly think Jeff Burton will be a contender at the Brickyard in 2 weeks. More to come on race day this morning. Busy day of motorsports on television as we take a timeout. The Pennsylvania 500 at 1 o'clock. Kart in Canada and more. We're back tonight at 10 o'clock. Back live at Pocono. That's all the time we have for now. We're back tonight, though, at 10 o'clock.